Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy Only Stochastic Halloween day. It's the 31st of October. Doesn't mean anything to me because it's just another day, my friends. It's just another day, but there is some very important things as it is the last day of the month and even the bi-monthly as well, which does mean that there's some very important numbers to be aware of for tonight's closure that, if met, well, bullish. If not, less so. But I'd like to welcome you back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Tuesday morning. It is actually Tuesday, and I got that one right on the first try, and we're just going to get right into this one. I need to reduce this alert over here. Get out of my face, Mr. Bot, you slave. And first things first, start off with the most pressing concerns coming into tonight's closure for not just the daily, but also the monthly and bi-monthly. This is a 2-month chart right here, and Bitcoin is in the process of putting in a bullish engulfing candlestick. On this current closure here. It will be confirmed with any sort of a closure basically above 31,500 it looks like, or 31,800 basically, as we do see that the current one has traded below the low of the prior, 24.9 versus 25,250, and the high is obviously, well, very well above all of the wick highs of the priors as well, so depending upon where you kind of take them, but I'd even just say 32,000 bucks. So within this case, ultimately, if Bitcoin does complete this as a nice bullish engulfing, another good indication that this rally continues on into the end of this year. November and December very likely seeing, at least some form of continuation in this case. Now, what we are here on the on the 2-month time frame, I do want to first mention that the bi-monthly, the 2-month, the whatever the month, the trans month is reclaiming all major moving averages potentially with this closure, assuming that Bitcoin closes above 29,000 bucks, but looking so far so good. We don't really have too much to be going off of this historically speaking, as we've never even seen these really cross to the downside on the bi-monthly, but remaining above all major moving averages after a bit of consolidation right here and a bit of contraction between the lower periods is generally speaking a good sign and would speak to the more long-term trend. On top of that, we do see that the 2-month time frame is still continuing with this hidden bullish divergence that we pointed out all the way back in January of 2023, so at the beginning of this year. Now that's of interest here just because that is still active, and we're going to see the bi-monthly time frame pop back up and potentially close, assuming that it is anywhere here or higher. Or actually, let's see. Anywhere above 32,200 will close above that exponential moving average right here as well. So that would indicate that, hey, we actually do have 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence come off these last macro lows and reclaiming that exponential moving average again within this more neutral zone. Well, again, that has been Bitcoin long term kind of popping above and getting ready for that sideways and upside market, basically. Anyways, long term, still looking at, sorry, wrote here in my notes, 2M month. What the fuck does that mean, man? But while I am here, I should talk about the bi-monthly jewel going to be having its first potential light cyan color baked in. Again, assuming that things close here or higher, or just anywhere above 32,000 bucks, I suspect is going to be good enough in this case. We don't really have any other times that the bi-monthly jewel's even gotten this low, but when it has turned from white to cyan, again, it has been within the midst of that transitional market, going from not just bear to, well, it doesn't really go from like bear to bull. It goes from bear to boring to bull, and that's kind of what we're in the process of doing right now. I suspect that this market's still going to be boring, is what I'm trying to say. Might not be what everyone wants to hear, but it's probably still going to be a little bit more on the boring side. Definitely more exciting than what we did see, I think, in the last 6 months, but, generally speaking, still boring. Anyways, moving on now, I do want to get into the bi-monthly stochastic oscillator. We can see that it is going to have a chance to officially cross the upside for the first time since, freshly, I should say, for the first time since May of 2019, assuming that Bitcoin closed today above 23,000 bucks. So far, more than 10,000 bucks above that pivot. I think it's good. It's good. In the past, hasn't really been. I mean, we don't really have much to be going off of it within the past. One time, it was a great timer of things to come. I'm talking about this area right here. Whoops. Okay, let me actually just use a vertical line. That's going to be better. It was a great timer of things to come over here. Again, sideways, but sideways and up. Over here, less so. I mean, it was still sideways and up, but people are going to point to the Rona dump over here. But again, if you just put this on a line chart and get rid of the wicks and whatnot, it was essentially sideways and up from there. I mean, it wasn't all that bad on a closing basis, but on a wick basis, obviously terrible. But hey, that's not what I'm trying to fucking do right now. Stop it. There we go. So fair enough. And again, as far as bi-monthly volatility, we're looking at, we're looking at relative lows here as well, which have marked off, bottoms in the prior market. So I'll put these on the relevant paces right here. Boom, and yeah, these kind of marching up a little bit with actually some more exciting stuff long term. I personally don't think that this is going to be the move that brings Bitcoin back to like all-time highs and beyond. I do think that we're going to be stuck in, a larger macro range, but of course I can be wrong, on that. But looking at this, I mean, it would say that long term, actually, it should get pretty damn interesting from here. So fair enough. Anyways, I'll go back in now and we'll go through the monthly, just because, it's good to do. And the monthly time frame, as we can see, similar stuff going on right here. Monthly RSI had that same hidden bullish evidence, getting back above the neutral zone and heading up towards that bullish control zone for the first time since, realistically, September of 2020, that is going to be long-term generally a good thing. So I want to see where that next tick comes in. The monthly jewel is getting a continuation signal here as of right now. It is turning that light sand color. Just want to see it solidified into tonight's closure, also supported by DMI, which is also going to reclaim all major moving averages, and all major moving averages are going to switch into a bullish posture here as well, most likely, as the cyan 9 exponential moving average is going to have a chance to cross above the yellow 21 exponential moving average, which will inevitably happen. Oh, actually, it's actually. Oh no, okay. So this number will change massively on tonight's closure, but technically speaking, you need to close above 35,200 tonight for that to happen. But I expect that number is going to go down significantly upon this closure, and then it'll probably be very much above, assuming that Bitcoin doesn't dump below again like $30,000 before end of day. Fair enough. So yeah, we spoke about that. I think we got through the interesting things right there. We can end this one on our beautiful, lovely HPDR bands range. This indicator going to be available relatively soon as kind of like a suite of all of the HPDR related indicators, because Caretaker now has a suite of like 5 of them. Only one of them is now available, but we're going to make a package for all of them. And if you have, the original HPDR, you'll get a major discount on the rest of the package. And we'll probably release that in 2-ish weeks, give or take a week from there. So that'll be my estimation as of right now. But I'm really excited for, because these are just my favorite indicators basically. Anyways, in this case, we can see that the daily time frame continues to march up here. That 50% of historic returns range continues to march up, and now even I believe this is the mean here. Or maybe it's not the mean, it might be the median. Actually, yeah, it is the median. Okay, fair enough. Is starting to meet up with current price action here too, which I don't know how much weight I put on the median, but it's interesting to check nonetheless. Anyways, the bottom side of the current 50% of historic returns range lows is now at 32,700. So I would be looking at that as a base on current price action, meaning that Bitcoin generally bullish as long as it's above there. Below there, we start to talk about maybe a major trap possible, but at least a major retracement incoming, probably down to like low 30s if I had to guess. But for right now, still looks good as volatility cooling off rather abruptly, which is also a good sign. So I would say that this is going for a reset. Maybe we see a try for continuation later this week. I still think that it probably takes a little bit of time, but maybe later this week. We can also go reference stochastic momentum just to see what it is, for the more relevant time frames for today. And let's see, should we go to CME? Yeah, CME is going to be closing today. We'll have a chance to continue up as long as Bitcoin's above 27,400. Looking good right there, I'd say. 2-day time frame also going to be headed up as long as Bitcoin's above 31.7, but is getting into that critical zone. This one's closing tonight as well. So we got 2-day, 5-day, monthly, and bi-monthly. Obviously the daily and everything below. Daily 34,150. Current pivot again way up there. So that is why I do say really wouldn't take too much for a bit of a pullback here and consolidation slightly lower. just not super concerning as long as things are above 32.6, 32.7-ish region. 12-hour time frame showing 34.800. 6-hour time frame is showing 34.5. 4-hour time frame is showing 34.6. In fact, the lower term time frame is looking a little more weak to me, actually, with the higher term time frames looking more toppy, 34.7 for the hourly. So yeah, this actually would be a really good place for a bit of a pullback to open up the month, and then, you know, probably put in another higher low and try again higher. Maybe I adjust that later this week and into next week, probably. So I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off. As always, I want to wish you the best on this last lovely day of October 31st of the year 2023. I'll see you in the future tomorrow. With that said, take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.